Beyond the Pages.
Beyond the Pages.
Hello, our wonderful listeners. You are welcome to Beyond the Pages podcast. This podcast is produced by Accessible Publishers Limited. My name is Uchechukwu Judith Nwafo, and I'm very thrilled to be on this episode today. You know, there's something I really love about literature. It's not just about the storytelling parts, but also that it exposes people's mind. It tells people lots of stories. And the funny part is that you don't even need to be at different places to know what is happening over there. You can be at a sport and you know what is happening in different places. And this made me to understand something, to remember something that happened while I was in school. Someone contacted me when I was in final year and was like, he wanted to come to University of Nigeria, Nsukka, to study. Why? Just because of reading Purple Hibiscus, the pictorial image that Chimamanda painted. Like, he wanted to come there and do his masters and see how the environment is actually. So like, that was what drew him. And then coming to this Mary Slessor, I have not actually been to Calabar before, but I've been hearing the story of Mary Slessor. And when I read about it, I'll get some pictorial image of the environment and I'll know what happened. I'll have an idea of what happened during Mary Slessor time, how she stopped the clean-up twins. So like, it's an amazing stuff that we are going to discuss about Mary Slessor today. And we have the author with us here, Honorable Moses Oko. He studied history and he has been into politics too. So he has a lot of things to share with us today. Mary Slessor is not just like a normal book. It's an amazing book published by Accessible Publishers Limited. And one fun thing I want to point out about it is that it has been officially approved for BECE Literature Syllabus. And beyond that, it tells an amazing story of a courageous woman, a story of love, a story of compassion, and it's beautifully told from the eye from our amazing author with us today. So I would love to welcome today in our midst, Mr. Moses Oko. We are very excited to have you today on this episode.
Thank you very much.
Know better, to know more about the story. Because one thing is that many authors have written about stories about Mary Slessor, but you were able to bring it down to the eye for students to be able to read and comprehend it.
Okay.
So we are happy once more to have you on this episode.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so before we talk about Mary Slessor, we want to talk about you. Yes, we want to start with you. Beyond this cover of Mary Slessor, beyond the story, how did your writing journey begin?
Good.
What inspired you to start writing?
Good. First of all, I will thank you for finding me worthy to be here with you. And you see, sometimes I will always say that everything that happens, God knows. I was just coming almost blindly, and I didn't think about this, and here I am now. I would even say that nothing happens when God didn't permit it.
Yes.
Sometimes it's for your good, sometimes it's for others. When you don't even bargain, it can become your good. And so, writing, when they say it's a gift, I do not even know whether to accept or to say it's your own efforts to get there. I do not even know. But somehow, when it becomes a flair, when you write and you begin to say, what effort did you make to achieve this level? If it is not a flair, if it is not originally given, the divine favor of providence may have entrusted you with such gifts. Or you would say, okay, it is a coincidence. Both of them would have worked together. So, but even if it's a coincidence, I find myself working very hard. Can you work so hard and not achieve certain things? That's the question. So I am lost to that yet. Yes, whether it is providence, whether it's hard work that led me into writing. But I would say that, right from childhood, I read a lot of these classics, these English, these authors. I read them, mention them. Mention them, I don't want to quote people, but I read plenty of them.
Yeah.
I read plenty of them, and it could have led me into literature, I do not know. I read plenty, and so, even in school, I will never fail literature. I will do very highly in history. Those two subjects, I can fail everything, but I must pass those ones, leading the class. And so, it lived in me, something like that lived in me. And when I graduated, I was serving somewhere. My friend, they sent us to Benue. One day I woke up and I told him, let's start writing. He laughed at me. He said, we read history. What are we going to write? I said, no. But I will start writing all the time.
Yeah.
And I started writing. I will make all the mistakes. I will write something that at 300 pages, I will cancel them again and throw away, and I never gave up. So sometimes resilience, determination can also lead to something that I was finding difficult to find, whether it was providence or whether it was my own and all that. Determination, the willpower, the wanting to get there is something again that can find you getting to somewhere, and now I'm beginning to say, what was it? How did I get there? Because sometimes when I write myself, when I read, I'll say, did I write this? You need to be transported away from where you are to a level where you can be on your own before you can write, where you are not listening to people, where you are not listening to hunger, where you are not listening to anybody, and so on. You are not distracted. That's when you can get to that level. So I started writing and counseling, and I never gave up. It was quite tormenting, and all that. And later, I did a work that I sent to Longman. They took it with one hand, but when they took it, they didn't get back to me. I had to go to Lagos. Say, I sent the work 9 months ago here, and all that. They promised me go, and that was the end of that work. I said, well, it's frustrating. Everything about writing is frustrating. You just have to keep going. And that work fizzled out. Your first effort fizzled out. But I never gave up. I kept writing. And I've been writing it. And since then, I'm sure I've written history, political science, literature, biographies, and I've written all that. And the happiness is that when people read, even professors come to me to show them how to write. I must confess to you.
That's interesting.
I'm not bragging. I'm saying it because you will discover that many people don't know how to write. They may be writing for pass examination, but when it comes to critical writing, and I find myself writing easily. Maybe as a result of persistence, constancy, and all that. Maybe, I do not know. I don't know how to place it now. But I can rightly say that I'm a writer. But even then, you still need to be massaged. But in the Nigerian context, writing well enough is not enough. You'll be writing well, and those who are not even writing as well as that ahead. Those are the things that frustrate me, but I'm never frustrated. I keep writing. Even to please myself, I just keep writing. That's where we are. I've written many books. If I have not written, at least about 20 books. That is good enough for numbers.
Yes.
That's how much I have written. And I'm still writing. Recently, I finished a book, Inikmi, just like this one is a play. That one is Inikmi. You may have heard about Inikmi, the story of Igala princess who accepted to be sacrificed so that Igala can win a war. They had always been defeated. Igala land has always been defeated. The father, who was a king there called Ata Ayegba Oma Idoko, they wanted what was happening, and they went to consult an oracle who said somebody must be sacrificed, and it's your daughter. And that girl is Inikmi. And she willingly accepted, yes, sacrifice me so that we can win the war. And she died. She was buried with 9 virgins.
Wow.
So you see, I like to write about things that when you read Mary Slessor, you see the sacrifice she made. I'm a sacrificial man myself, so I write about things that are sacrificial.
So is it fictional or non-fictional?
Will it be? It's a real happening. But yes, it's a real happening. I'm telling you about the story, real story that happened in about 15 something, 1550 or 15, about that time. it happened. But it's a fiction in the sense that most of the names are playable. That I just used them. Just like here, you can see those names, they don't exist anywhere. Just write them.
Going back to what you said about writing, you said you only don't know if you say it's consistency or persistence. But when I think about it, many people you can't say people that are not writing well, they've not been consistent enough or they've not been persistent enough, because I used to feel like something that is a flair, it's something that you like doing. That's why you kept at it.
Yeah.
Because if it's not something that is pleasing you, it's not something that is motivating you personally.
Yeah.
I don't know how you will continue to write up to 20 titles today.
And I'm still writing.
Yeah.
Even at my age.
So I'm going to the second question. Do you remember the first time you encountered or you heard about the story of Mary Slessor? Like, what about it caught your attention and made you to still remember it? And, this happened years ago. What about it caught your attention, made the story stay with you until you put it into writing?
When Mary Slessor, when you say what time was it and all that, I may not really remember, but it's a long time ago. And then when I got into know about that, I said, no, let us talk about this woman. As I'm writing, let me dramatize this, and I even went to Koyong. I had finished the work. It was already being used in secondary schools in Calabar. But I thought that maybe new information can come in. Let me, I can. So I went, the doors were locked. She was staying in Okoyong. All the doors were locked. I didn't have access because there you can see some of those things that she was using. Her shoes and all that. I needed to see them so they can add something imagination to their work. I could have come to change certain things, but it was not possible. I couldn't access so it came away. That is just that. Her sacrifice. She lived a life of sacrifice, life of daringness, not minding the risk. And she came for that to Africa, and she did that and died like that. Yes, and I just talked about people who died like that. And in fact, I think that is I don't even know what I'm going to die like that. Because I don't know why I like those things like that. I like them. I'm not saying I would die like that, but that's the nature, that's the things I like.
Okay.
Because this country is not going well. Everybody wants to live and let others die. But I'm the negative of that. There must be a change. It will come one day.
Yeah, I want to understand, why did you feel like it's junior secondary school are the ones using this book for BECE? Why do you feel like they need to understand this story? Why did you write it for that audience?
Because character formation, they are not hardened yet as much as the other people. They can still be transformed or reformed. So it will start at that. It is better to start at that early stage to get used to principles, to things that they can really get attracted to. Those are the ones that are already half-baked. They will not easily attune to these things. So that was the way I look at it.
Okay, looking at this book, there's something that attracted me to this book. With love, she conquers. Gets me to imagine, why adding this with love, she conquers? Like, is there something, like, what about Mary Slessor made you to add this with love, she conquers?
She was working in Europe, in Scotland. Okay, the parentage was not a very happy one. The mother was working and the father was a drunk, and the mother was working so hard. Mary Slessor came up seeing these things already, how the father was not minding anything and the mother was, and she started working at an early age, very early age, to make both ends meet, and in other words, you could deduce from this that she had a heart of piety. They had to consider considerable pity for people. And so at a point, she began to think of service elsewhere in the land where people are dying and suffering for nothing. And she came like that, with that mission. and she decided to come to Nigeria where the thing was even more terrible, especially killing of twins. It appealed to her, it touched her sensibilities. Let me go to this land. There were terrible things happening. And I can tell you that I read beyond. I can, they ask any question, even in Europe about her, I will be able to tell you something.
Yeah.
She did terrible things. She suffered so much. She took risk, horrible risk. They are sacrificing people there. She's going there. She did all that. I mean, why would one not be attracted to such character?
And she still lost her life.
That's why you see with love, because she loved, and you can see that she loved those people that she was treating. She loved them. She would tell you. She had slaves, all that around her, and all that, and all that. She came to Africa with love, the love of humanity, yes, and sacrificed herself. She didn't care about her life. She wanted to live, but the will to live was not even as much as let me make sure that these people are better than that.
So that's a lot already. Knowing the complexity of the story, historically, culturally, even emotionally.
Yeah.
How were you able to narrow this story down for the audience that this book is meant for without losing the depth of the story, without, how were you able to tell it very well, dramatize it?
That is exactly what comes to you when you see a blind man going tapping his stick all over. A new blind man will not be able to tap with as expert as the one who has been blind for a longer time. And it has to do with some dexterity, something that and a man who has been writing and give, like you say, a flair for it and all that, will be able to choose his words. I will be able to think for people. The writer should think for people what the man is saying, what he should say. That is what makes the conversation as agreeable as that. What is the man going to say in this situation, in this circumstance? What is his response?
Yeah.
And all that. What Mary Slessor has said, what is it likely to think? And then it is not an easy thing to just say those things, but you have to think very hard, to come to. Even when you write and you come to look at it and you think, no, that's not what you should have thought. Don't be lazy. You will cancel it and think about it properly. What would you have said? That is how you can get to those things.
Okay, now that this book has been approved for BECE, I'm curious, beyond passing their literature exams, what lesson do you intend that they take home that is part of them from this story? What lesson do you think they should learn from reading the story after, beyond the exams and everything?
Well, it is not that. It is difficult, like you even said it by saying Nigeria is not easy, not very easy at all, because as you're trying to build, somebody is destroying. As you are building, somebody is destroying. The system itself is destructive. The system has not helped in any way. When we were growing up, when we were born, we saw the white men who had morals, they had the religion, all these things were there, and you feared. That's why I went to the seminary. It knocked me into shape. You will go to church, you hear this, you see these pious people, they come, you want to be holy immediately. That's not the way children are now. What is attractive now? Cultism. This, that, and that. I want to get rich. I want to do. Even children now that are doing Yahoo at 17, 15. So what impact do you think this will have on them? But we're only trying to say that, well, those who have the impact, let them have. Even maybe out of 100, maybe 2, 3 people, let it be done. Nobody has at all. So the message is clear that we should be sacrificial. Once we are sacrificial in this country, you will not want to take what the other man is taking. You will not, if you are the president, you are thinking how to enrich yourself. This book tells you that, no, don't do that. Take what you can. In fact, sacrifice for others. It's a little thing, but it's a message that can carry, it speaks volumes. That is why we are, this country.
So we talked about lots of issues that Nigeria is passing through. One from this today, something is trending, the next day we are hearing about another thing in this country. So there is a lot every day and all.
Yes.
So imagine, let's say Mary Slessor is to be alive today. Which issue do you think that is happening in Nigeria that she might be interested to solve, being that kind of sacrificial person? Which issue is currently happening in Nigeria do you think Mary Slessor should be interested to solve?
You know what they call anachronism? Anachronism that is something out of tune, out of date.
Okay.
Mary Slessor cannot live in Nigeria now.
Okay.
She won't be able to fit into the system now. She won't even make the success she made then now. Because that would be anachronistic. She existed at a time that it was permissive to carry out those things. Now it's not possible. You may say that they were cannibals and all that, but what we have now, this cannibalism that we have now is worse than the one that existed then. Yes, this one that we have now is worse than that type. So you can see that the times were permissive for her. If she comes now, she will make no success at all.
I've been able to learn one or two things, at least the spirit of being sacrificial.
Good.
That you mentioned that, let's say, most of us in Nigeria, if we are sacrificial, if we are not thinking about ourselves, if we think about others too, we will not be where we are currently.
Exactly.
So I hope also that our listeners, you'll be able to pick one or two from this interesting podcast section today. So I thank you so much for honoring our invitation today. I don't know if you have any other thing to add to this podcast before we round up.
Well, I don't even know what to add. But first of all, let me thank you for finding me worthy to come here.
It's our pleasure.
Yes, I thank you. And I pray that you would continue to do more of this. Because Nigeria is hard. Very, very hard. You need to water it a lot for us to have it softened. And because this type of things you do, sending messages like this out, there is no way that one or two will not be affected. You know, affected means not negatively, but by way of learning the positive things. You know, Nigeria is gone. This country is not easy. It's not easy. So I thank you for this program. That God will give me the strength to continue to have it.
Thank you so much, sir. The pleasure is ours. We are very thankful. We're excited to have you today for this podcast. Thank you for honoring our invitation. So to our wonderful listeners, I believe you learned one or two too from this Mary Slessor, the love, the courage, the self-sacrificing and everything, and even what he said about Inupe too. So we're also looking forward to reading that as well, because most of us know about the story of Mary Slessor, but we don't know about this one. So, and it's a very, very interesting storyline, hearing the summary of it. So I look forward to reading it too. And also thank you for going towards that. I like that direction, trying to make a change and trying to get people think more and try to do something for Nigeria as a country. So if this episode impacted in you, we would love you to follow us up, share this, and comment and follow Beyond the Pages podcast on our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on YouTube, we are on TikTok too, as Accessible Publishers Limited. We are on X, formerly Twitter, as Accessible PL. Then our website is www.accessiblepublishers.com. Thank you for tuning in. Till next time. Bye.